Stop!
Don't be sad.
I'm not sad.
You're dripping off of your bones in grief.
Well, there you go. Grief, pain, suffering, yeah, that's me, but not sadness. Do you know what's sad? The sound of a violin. Oh, if you could only hear the violin. Oh, that's music.
We have music here.
Oh, yeah, music, yeah. You have uninspired noises of an unintentional and of a never yawning life. You have thoughts of wind and primitive mating calls. Music, real music, stirs the soul. It is not accidentally beautiful, nor is it pragmatic. It is liquid beauty, for beauty's sake. You have no idea. Well, you don't. Orchestras don't come to forests.
Where do you think the violin came from?
A human invention.
Made from wood.
We make desks and chairs from wood. Why not instruments?
Whose idea was it then?
Ours.
It was a gift.
I don't believe you.
It was. Piano too. And cello. And the sly shine of a clarinet. That was us.
Then you can give me back my hearing too. Please, friend, I'm dying.
When the yearnings of your body sing to you songs of death, that's when you know you are truly and wonderfully alive.
Oh.
My favorite part of the human body is the tongue. It can touch, taste, and speak. Thick, wet, sloppy, a root. It straddles the outside world and that which is swallowed. What the tongue unmakes, nothing can put back together. It wields a gray clarity, an unscrupulous conviction. How could you be so ruthless against your own soul? Think your life would cost you nothing? That it would cost me nothing? Once you've been blasted open with holes, those holes may close up in your world, but they don't close up in my world, the spirit world. Wag the tongue! Wag the tongue, spirit! Listen! Climb on top of the tongue like a herd of seamen on a boat. Admire the view. Are you scared to jump? As long as the tongue plays it safe, as long as the tongue rides the waves of body, potential, and intensity, you spirits stay locked up in stories and dreams and snap. But bam! Dig a curse out of the tongue, and you spirits know exactly where to go. You lodge yourself in the flesh. In the hospital, spirits hammered into my body with the insistence of nails. I can taste your visions with my tongue. Say something. I think I'm out. I can't open up without.
Ladies and gentlemen, even trees of the same type that grow next to each other, even they do not grow the same. Every face pricks your heart with a certain feeling, and this feeling is truth. Small piece of truth that we are all steeped in. For truth is life, just like love is life. And our breath moves truth and love in our bodies. Truth is like blood. The moment it stops moving, that's the moment of death. At this point, you have no doubt heard of some of the experiences of ayahuasca that float around the internet. Jokers in a deck of cards. Ayahuasca, what is known as an entheogen, a neurognostic, a hallucinogenic plant, a psychotropic drug, and in this country, an illegal drug. Gentlemen, gentle ladies, if I were to describe to you the color of a man's hair, will you know the color of his soul? For those of you that dream, have you ever dreamt of terrifying situations? A dog runs at you with bared teeth. Somebody points a gun at your chest, and yet you knew you were safe. Or on the flip side, you were in seemingly calm and placid places where no one was threatening you, and yet the truth granted to you in your dreams, the knowingness of the dream, tells you that bad things are afoot. Ayahuasca is a dream state, and just as dream realities have in them certain truths that we are gifted with through the night by kind angels that hold our hands through the breaking world, so ayahuasca has given me truths that have taken root in my heart. Gentle jurors of this court, I ask you, can you tell a tree not to grow? Can you order the sun not to rise? You can uproot a tree, pull shut all your blinds. But our fundamental fear comes from this, that we do not rule the world. Because we don't. And there is a voice coming out of the jungle now. A clear, strong voice that is ready to wrestle with the convictions of our ever-ebbing humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, when plants stand up to speak to us, their offspring, we must listen. When the spirit of the forest undertakes a journey, we must listen. The only question is, are we able to hear the message?
Some people believe you can't be a shaman if you're white and you killed a man.
I killed 3 men, 2 women, and 5 children, and I almost killed myself.
There are some who believe that only certain races can divine from the sacred songs of nature.
I know the animals don't come to me.
I came to you.
I know, I listen hard for songs, but I can't hear much anymore. My ears were shattered by the blast, and they rattled the beans in my eyes in the jar of my skull. I am a shaman for one reason only. I bring hope. That's what my teacher said. We met in the laundromat. We met outside. We met in the soup kitchen. We met on the street corner. My teacher took my hand and hit me with the tuning fork and said,
Here!
Oh, and I felt the vibration going through my head and down my spine. And there are moments in life when you are jangled like keys for no other reason than the cross-section of time and space and life and the air we breathe.
If there are mountains, there must be canyons where trees baptize with snow and the heart gets weak at the knees.
It's difficult to believe that I am made of the same stuff as mountains, carved laboriously by rivers of blood. Dear God, what was the point of the earth creating creatures like us? Creatures so suspicious of their own souls that they cannot acknowledge anybody else's. Creatures who fail at tilling the soil.
What right does a child have to ask that question of a parent?
What is the point of all this shit?
The sun is not meant to be looked at, only felt on the skin.
Some people have a child inside of them. This child runs around and screams and cries and laughs and generally makes nuisance. But I have a plant inside of me. The softest part of my soul is a small flower in a pot. I watch its tendrils curl, its tiny leaves and petals. A fly could easily smush between its wings, and I think, danger, danger. It is a terrible thing to have a flower inside of you. The flower demands things, that you be not terrified, that its safety be of no concern to you, which is ridiculous. Of course its safety is of concern to you. It is a flower, and you are human. And the flower says to you, you are just like me. And I think, no, I am at least a plant that carries its own pot. But then the flower laughs at me and says, where will you go? Where will you run to? And then she takes 2 of her leaves like arms above her head and presses them to either side of her pretty little face. And she mocks my hubris. Where will you run? She asks. The forest is constantly changing. Every moment, a thick chorus of plant breath changes color. When I come into the forest, I hear the wind in the trees. But when I come into the city, everything around me is so loud, it makes me deaf with all of its clobber and sameness. There is a repetition and a violence and a dullness in the droop of the windows and the slop, and in the shops constant pleading for you to look at them. Sometimes I think I'm going deaf because of the cacophony of the city. Now how can you not go deaf when the butcher is screaming into your ear, "Buy my meat," all the time? And the barber, and the bookseller, and the apothecary. Everyone wants you to buy. Everybody wants you to want something. All I ever wanted was peace and quiet. My mother had 7 children, and all she wanted was peace and quiet also. And then all these children started screaming, "Feed me, feed me." Sometimes I think I'm going deaf for my mother's sake, because she always wanted to, but never did. Oh, we do not hear with our ears, you're right. The world we hear with our eyes. But in truth, we see and we hear with our hearts. Our ears are there to save us. With our ears we can shut out the noise of the world through piano, through violin, through chorus, through orchestra. We can shut out the noise of the world which comes crashing through the crumbling walls of our eyes. I tell you, try to live your life one day without seeing, and you will hear God. But try to live your life one day with your sight alone, and you will hear the devil. The devil peers into your eyes and stretches them and jumps into them over and over like children playing on a rock over a lake. Flump! The water parts, and you cannot get rid of these devils. The only way to get rid of the devils is to come to the forest. The forest is the one place where my eyes hear peace. Please, friend.
Friend.
Give me back my hearing.
Friend.
If you can change perception so that I know that you move, then you can. Please. Thank you.
Others may not believe you.
I don't care.
You may not believe yourself.
Of course I believe. I heard music.
Listen. Those who cannot hear, hear. Those who cannot see, see.
The deaf can hear?
Who do I sound like to you?
Jesus.
Ah, but you've never heard Jesus.
I've read his words.
So you know. The miracle is in your body. Your body is like a tree. You were born with a space inside of you. And that space, the echo of that space, that is the music you hear.
But violin, piano, I will never hear them?
You will.
When? When?
Come. Come. They are putting us on trial.
Trial who?
The doctors.
Huh? They wouldn't dare.
Shh, listen.
People invented courts of law. People invented courts of law so that a human could have a place to defend him or herself. Courts of law once prided themselves in being prisons for truth.
Wait a minute.
But truth can only ever be true if it is free.
No. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. At the hospital, they only ask you about your feelings, not your truth. They want you to forget where you are. They avoid it by talking about feelings, but they don't believe in feelings. They told us that we weren't desiring the right things in our lives. We weren't spending our money the way we should, loving how we should, fucking like we should. So they put you in a prison of white, and they ask you about things they don't even believe in. Those silly people.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's a hard world we live in.
this is a hard world we live in when we search for the truth.
Because the truth shatters like a kaleidoscope image in this world.
And we can only watch it glitter. I searched and searched and searched for the cause of my illness. I traveled from diet to diet, from medication to medication, from doctor to doctor. I tracked my symptoms both literally and metaphorically and struggled with the pain. I reflected and ruminated and was hypnotized. I tried to remember things from past lives. I have been exorcised. Given up many times. Returned to doctors. And all the while, through materialist philosophies and depressing appointments, I always felt like my illness was posed to me as a question. It wasn't until ayahuasca taught me to listen to my body, to listen to the stories in my blood. Ayahuasca told me many things. She showed me a world full of human faces. These faces drawn as little cartoons, full of benevolent gentleness, full of shy smiles. These faces, benign, turned towards each other, deeply interested in the other, always slightly aware of the softness and vulnerability of their own soul. These people looked each other in the eye. The scene was transient, and death was etched into every breath, into each glance given another. Ayahuasca showed me love. She showed me tornadoes of frenzy that are politics. She showed me human pride and the way that we think that we have reached the pinnacle of knowledge and achievement. She showed me the senselessness of a world where one frightened individual builds pyramids of themselves in order to glorify one more frightened individual. Ayahuasca, she sang to me. We are the rhythm. I saw streams of people who were all music notes, who were all rhythm and song. And these people streaming their eventhood in harmony and dissonance. But most importantly, in time, in frustrated inability to ever grasp the singularity of another. Never able to slow them down enough. Streams of people, streams of rhythm. The spaces around us filled with halos of anticipation. The spaces between us filled with the yearning of silence. Pulled by the threads of our own hushed songs. Still wispy in the air, like steam. All these people, ta-ta-dying on top of a beating heart. The earth, reeling with ecstasy, growing up into the wide open, spacious sky. A place our hearts looks to every day for life. And who are we to think that the universe is not alive to hear it? The universe is one big ear. We are cradled, us, babies, warm, comfortable, in the shell. Our hearts listen to every second of every day.
Wait a minute!
You're a
avoiding the question.
This is all highly irrelevant.
You cannot be serious with this.
What question?
Why are the doctors here?
Don't worry.
You left because of them.
No, my darling.
They injected my body with nightmares. I shook and sprouted prescriptions like a fucking addicted tree.
Hush, now hush.
What question?
You specifically said that ayahuasca cured you.
Yes.
How do you know that?
Cures being a myth, notwithstanding.
I asked ayahuasca about my illness 3 times.
1, 2, 3 times she got high.
The first 2 times, ayahuasca said,
She kept on trying.
She kept getting high.
she said it was no big deal.
What a sexist thing to call a plant a woman.
But the flare-ups kept coming back.
Degenerate.
So the 3rd time, I really pressed.
You pressed a plant?
I asked the plant spirit because it was a really big deal in my life. All of the pain. And ayahuasca showed me myself on a path in the forest, a tangled and difficult forest.
A path where the trees, like matrons, hang leaves out to dry.
And I was on this path, this difficult path.
What does that have to do with reality?
Drugs.
Drugs.
Definitely drugs.
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything. Please turn toward me when you speak.
And ayahuasca showed me that in the same forest there was a beautiful and easy path.
I hear music only, and the forest never stops singing.
So ayahuasca took me off of the path that I was on and put me on the easier path. And I have had no flare-ups or taken any medications since.
Drugs.
Drugs.
Definitely drugs.
Why are they talking about drugs?
Let's go.
No, please, no more doctors.
Back to the desert country.
Together?
Together.
What's the verdict?
Don't worry about it. You can't win with these people.
Yeah, it hurts, you know. The ringing in my ears. It's not just that I'm deaf. I'm in pain. The world's muted out, disappearing. What's the point? What's the point? Anyway. You're the only one I hear. Why is that?
I am you.
But you said you weren't my imagination.
I live inside your soul. You live in mine. That is what it means to be friends. That has nothing to do with imagination. It's a truth as old as we are.
Well, I'll stay here then. This forest isn't so bad. What? Oh, you invited me once, I remember. You said I could come and stay.
No!
Oh, like you'll try to stop me, you'll hit me with a branch, or you'll rip a root out of the earth. Huh? Oh, you'll try to scare me as if...
could stay. But your road goes elsewhere, my friend.
No. No, the world out there, I have been chopped away from it. The hand that has been cut off from the body cannot be reattached. The hand remains dead, the body uncomfortable. Dead things should be separated from the living.
You are that living thing. You have a song inside of you. And the dead world needs to hear it to come back to life.
A deaf musician.
I saw thousands of people as red and shiny Swedish fish jumping up, launching dolphins out of water, cresting like many mysterious moons. And I saw, I'm not hungry anymore. I had a normal childhood, deprived of history, skating over surfaces. I had a normal upbringing. No word on the meaning and everything. No hushed whisper of the life around me. My father and my mother were quite normal, very unhappy people. People who didn't know if they were trying to wake up or stay asleep. Those are the most unhappy people. I didn't learn much at all until I met my teacher. My teacher, the one who inducted me into this shamanic business, he was my teacher for 11 hours, 16 minutes, pretty much, something like that. Not quite half a day, but something close to it. My teacher, my guru, he was a very smart man. Not quite wise beyond his years, because he had a lot of years, but not a lot of wisdom. Because this man, well, about a quarter's worth of wisdom for every year. Enough for a load of laundry. His words, not mine. And this man explained everything to me. How everything works, how the world is. Isn't that a remarkable thing? And you know, I have to tell you, I have never felt alone after that. He sat me down and the universe rolled out on the furry red carpet of his tongue. He said everything he had learned from trees. And if I listened hard enough, they would talk to me too. My heart pinched at that, as though some pickled-faced schoolboy had me for a dare. Talking trees, I just got back from war. And when I got back, everybody expected me to be crazy. Because war and violence and fear, all of that is supposed to make you crazy. But I'm not crazy. I wasn't crazy. I was normal. Sure, I had my opinions about the war. In the platoon, we called them onions. Keep your smelly onion breath to yourself, we'd say. Even when the bodies would start jumping on their own. They do that, you know. They hiccup like corn in a pan. And pretty soon the platoon was all popping like corn in a pan. And there we were, shoving our faces with our onions, trying to keep our smelly onion breath to ourselves. Our eyes peeing onion juice. Our bodies hopscotching like popcorn. And I thought I would go crazy. I even resigned myself to it. But I'm not crazy. Never was. Truth is, it's a crazy world we live in. And it takes war to be able to see that. So, I get back, I meet this guy. He's telling me about talking trees, and I think to myself, oh boy, this is it. Either I become the crazy, or the crazies will come and eat me, like zombies in a horror flick. But he sat down with me, and he said,
Who came first?
the universe,
Good. And then?
the Milky Way,
No.
the galaxies,
Good. And then?
the planets,
Good. And then?
the rocks,
Good. And then?
algae, bacteria, plants, reptiles, monkeys, people.
Why would you assume that best came last?
Because that's what they say.
The plants say to us, you are our children. And like any young children, we think our parents are dumb. We think that we will build a better world than they, that we are smarter than them. But we have sinned beyond that. We have forgotten who our parents are. No wonder we cry and scream and wail like abandoned children. Yet nobody abandoned us.
Nobody abandoned us?
We cry to God and say, where are you? Even as we proceed to murder our parent in cold blood. Earth is our mother. Earth is our father. We have forgotten how to live in a world with spirit.
Spirit.
You out?
Yes. Don't.
What am I supposed to do?
Nothing. I don't know. Live.
That.
So much for ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have traveled far and wide, and I am telling you now that our fear of the non-material is killing us. We are the proverbial explorer, walking into a cave with a candle in one hand and a gun in the other. Dark, deep places hold truth that we cannot know the beginning or the end. I am not talking about the flu that passes, the virus that runs away, the cough that is cured, the fever that breaks. I am talking about the maze of questions that ultimately lead you to understand just how much of a question mark we are. These are precarious times. We live in a world balancing, frail, an eyelash on a cheek. Until we understand the softness and vulnerability of our own flesh, and the fact that no matter how many times you stab the ocean with a sword, still there. Until we understand that our birthright consists of both pain and love, and that our hearts are waking up. That sick people are humbled prophets. That old people are like the old trees of enchanted forests. Until we understand that we are blessed. We are blessed. Until we understand these things, we will continue stabbing at the ocean. Ladies and gentlemen, let us humble ourselves before our own. Let us lead humble politics. Let us build a humble world. Let us search constantly for a state of grace, and if that is not to be given to us, let us play with one another. These are magical times. These are the times when plants stand up and take the journeys out of the jungles in South America, the jungles in Africa. This is the time when the desert sings of vibrating colors and the cacti build ladders of thorns all the way up to the wide open blue sky. A mirror our hearts looks to every day for life. There are plants in South Africa that are 43,000 years old. Sequoia trees lift water all the way up to the tops of their trunks. Dung beetles navigate by the stars. mushrooms. There are mushrooms that eat plastic. Let us listen. Let us listen to the plants.
Guilty is charged!
Drink?
Let's go have a drink.
Drink?
I refuse to live until you teach me how to hear.
I can't. I can't teach you how to hear. I can teach you how to listen.
I'm deaf, not blind. I'm sorry. Please continue.
You must hunger for people's faces. You must remember that the faces you hunger for are those beloved by nature. These faces hold the faces of their ancestors. Faces of their ancestors singing in their cheekbones. Hunger for these faces. Hunger for the music of shifting faces. Hunger for the images behind their eyes. For every face has its own song.
But how do you hear the music of a face? When you sang, I could see your face.
Feel her lesson and listen. I smell the burning of dry leaves. Pretty soon our bodies will immolate as our suffering souls go in search of other ghosts. The animal spirits are leaving us. And when the bodies of those animals sink into the body of the earth forever, never to re-emerge, that's when the spirits of those animals will have returned to the spirit world forever. The elephants are leaving. The wolves are leaving. The moose are leaving. The dolphins are leaving. The bees are leaving. The tigers and the hedgehogs are leaving. The lions and the turtles. The cheetah and the eagle. And when everyone has left us, and we are all alone, we will look around. And our bodies will explode. And we will burst like party balloons. And our souls will emerge like fresh oyster meat. And we will go back to the beginning. And this time, we will get it right.
Goodbye then. I'm going back. I'm taking your song.
It's a gift.
Goodbye, friend.
Friend.
Will I ever hear it again?
Will you ever hear again?
No. Will I ever hear it again? That song. The young man, the song you sang, the song only my heart can hear. Will I ever hear it? I want to.
I can't say.
You can't or you won't.
Life is a mystery. And I am also mortal.
Who we are? No words can say. We are the discarded chaff, the bellowing billy goat driven from the sheep. We are the voting class nobody fights for. We are led by trickster paths as we walk the tangents of our lives. We are drawn to dry wells and dead, brittle trees and cracked souls. We see with our bellies and we sing with our hearts. Our tribe blends in amongst the others. We dance between raindrops and hide in wide open deserts. In my dream, our feet sank into the earth and shot us through with fire. In my dream, our arms rose up to the sky, petrified, holding up that sky. In my dream, our feet grew roots as our hearts learned to traverse the universe. In my dream, an old man in a young man's body came to me and sang. Nai, 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 and who would have known I was in the right place all along? Oh! Come along, Chaya.
They are waiting.
It's time.